Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst, Great Malabite, Emmanuel Ifene. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, we'll start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story there, Oba of Benin to Nigerians. Tinubu, Presidency ordained by God. The Oba of Benin, Omonoba Nedo Uku Apolopolo. Iwara the second. Yes, it was in Lagos yesterday, and it was received by the governor of Lagos State, but the Oba of Benin, the father that he is, of course, praying for the president and urging all election issues have been concluded, and this is the president we have for the next 4 years. So the hand of God must be in it. Otherwise, along the process, that will have been truncated either at the level of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal or at the Supreme Court. So the Oba of Benin, the father figure, urging Nigerians to unite behind the president we have. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, of course, the Oba of Benin visited the J.K. Orando Museum for Yoruba Culture. I'm sure the Oba of Benin, the diplomat king, as is being referred to in some quarters. I haven't traveled around the world. I haven't also witnessed in the process of retrieving stolen artworks from the Great Benin Kingdom. He's in the process of building a befitting museum that will house these artworks that being retrieved from all over the world in the Oba's Palace in Benin City. I'm sure that's going to be a great tourist attraction once completed. And we can only urge one and all, the government in those states and all Benin sons and daughters, to rally around and build that befitting museum in the Oba's Palace that will house the great Benin artworks, both stolen and the ones that are still at home. It will be a great tribute to the great artworks, the great artists over time of the Benin Kingdom. Of course, you cannot forget the Igun bronze casters who have done this from generation to generation, and they are still doing it in Igun Street. Igun Street in Benin City, also a tourist attraction. Of course, the Oba of Benin in Lagos is very much at home. At the peak of its power, the great Benin Kingdom extended beyond Lagos, even to today's Republic of Benin and all that. So we say welcome to the Oba of Benin, and it's great to have the Oba in Lagos, as it were. Now, the other stories quickly. We go to the Guardian newspaper. Banks brace for new monetary policy conduct regulation. Yes, as Cardoso returns CBN to traditional monetary policy regime. Yes, Cardoso, the central bank governor, had his time on Friday at that bankers' dinner, when he was being expected to speak. After MPC meeting, the course of the week, that never happened. Of course, the bankers' dinner provided a platform for the central bank governor to make some policy statement or to indicate policy direction. And according to the reports, new framework for payment services on the way, monetary tightening to continue till the second quarter of 2024. New capital base for Nigerian banks, of course, new FX guidelines and legislation. And of course, the focus will also be on price stability. But new capital base, I think that should be the peak of the pack, and the banks should be bracing up. The last time we had bank recapitalization, it was the Soludo Solutions, when Charles Soludo was the governor of Central Bank. The banks raised their capital base from 2 billion naira to 25 billion naira. What will it be this time? 50 billion, 100 billion? But the banks, the big banks should not really bat an eyelid of what that should be. And the Daily Independent newspaper also reporting this story. Investors okay banks fresh recapitalization. Urge transparency. Caution Apex banks on timing. Task it on forex inflation. Wants process to be more about incentives than coercion. Now, the Punch newspaper also reporting this story. Banking consolidation. Mega banks boast 10 trillion naira capital base. Others seek fresh investors. So we look forward to that exercise. But like others are urging, experts are urging, it should be transparent. And Daily Sun newspaper, banks jittery over fresh recapitalization plan. Organized private sector orders ask central bank to peg banks' capital base at 100 billion naira. DMB's deposit money banks begin merger talks. Yes, then of course below the photograph, I think this will concern a lot of households. Federal government steps into cooking gas crisis, set up committee to crash prices. Committee, yes, the New Telegraph newspaper reporting progressive politics dead. APC shifting, says Ganduje playing politics of expulsion, opposition giving supporters false hope. APC Northwest, in Northwest. Now, drama as Abuja-bound aircraft lands in Asaba. Of course, airline attributes diversion to bad weather. Well, that's the explanation for that. Now, if we look at the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, the story below the photograph, yes, NJC panel meets tomorrow to pick 11 new Supreme Court justices. Ex-CJ and Kutigi's son, Abiru, Shamani, others on FJSC priority list favored. Well, I'm sure Nigerians will be keeping a watching brief on that. Of course, if we just look at the yes, the Blueprint newspaper, we won't tolerate plot to disrupt peace. ECOWAS wants, of course, talking about the attempted coup in Sierra Leone, but that has been foiled. And of course, Madabio imposes nationwide curfew, aviation reschedules flight. Yes, Ruben Rufai, the time seems to be up.
They say we should go. But in any case, thank you very much for joining us.